Hey everybody, it's another deck profile. This one's going to be about the red purple law that's coming out in the 10th structure deck that'll be coming out. Pretty much I've been playing this with us on the sim because of course we don't have the deck yet. The leader's not out, and I think there are some cards in here that aren't even out yet as well. Yeah, this Gym Base from starter deck 10 as well. Same as this Gene Bart and this Shachi and Penguin, and then of course this Trafalgar Law and Beppo. So there is a lot of stuff in here that's also from set 1, like Otama and Brook. I think another thing from set 1 is Radical Beam. And then we also have Gum Gum Jet Pistol. Another thing is Roundtable. And this is a card I don't really see a lot of other red-purple laws playing. So, you know, to each their own. If you don't play it, you don't play it. But I feel like this card is really perfect for this deck because of what Leader Law's ability is. So let's get right into the deck profile. Of course, we're going to start it off with the leader. The leader is Red Purple Law, and it is a 4-life, 5k leader, slash, so, you know, if you're trying to kill a buggy with it, it's not going to kill the buggy, so, yeah, just don't even bother with that. But, of course, you're not attacking buggies with it. If anything, you're using Law's ability to get rid of the buggy. So, the activate mean is only once per turn. You have to -3, that's the purple side to it. You return one of your opponent's characters with 3,000 power or less, which is the red side of it, dealing with attack power. You return it to the bottom of their deck. So any card that's 3,000 power or less, you return to the deck, and then you play a 4 cost or lower from your hand. So, yeah, it's pretty good. That's why I run Roundtable in this, because if you have Roundtable, you can just get rid of a 10k leader, or a 10k character, my bad. You can get rid of a 10k character, or even you can get rid of the 10 drop 12k Kaido with Roundtable and Law's ability. You just send it back to the bottom of their deck. So, like, you're not really dealing with big bodies with RP Law out. So, what you would do with this is pretty much get rid of blockers, because most blockers are below 3,000, or you have like the Doflamingo blocker or like the Queen blocker. You just play like an Otama, bring it down below 3k or 3k, and then, you know, RP Law it. Just return it to the bottom of the deck, play something, and then attack, because they don't got a blocker now. So it's really cool. This RP Law is really cool to play against people that pretty much can just get a board. And when I mean a board, I mean like a board with big bodies out, like the 5 drop blocker Queen, the Kings, the Kaidos, anything with Navy, because like Sakazuki is like, I think Sakazuki's a 7k, so you just play like an Otama or you use Brook's ability. But yeah, our RP Law is a really good leader. It's red-green Law, but it also affects your opponent, not just yourself. So this is better Law. Unfortunately, I have to say that, because I actually run the green-red Law, so when this comes out, I know I'll be running it. So let's just get on to the cards now. Of course, we run 4 Otamas. Everyone knows what Otama does. It's a 2k counter, 0 attack, obviously, because it's Otama, it's a 1-drop, and when you play it, you -2k to one of your opponent's characters, which, again, works well with the leader. We run 4 Brooks, mostly because it's good for counter. It's just 1,000 counter. It's a nice 5k, 4-drop, but, you know, if you do something with Law's ability, you can pretty much summon Brook out for free. Pretty much when Brook attacks with a Dawn on, you -2,000 power to 2 of your opponent's characters. So another way to bring something from 5k down to 3k for Law's ability. We run 4 Gordons, and unfortunately he's not counterable, but you kind of don't need it to counter because you're pretty much playing him just for his ability. He minuses 3,000 power to opponent's character, and you have to send him to the bottom of your deck after. But that's good, because then you can possibly draw him again to do his ability over again, but he's at the bottom of your deck, so nothing in this deck lets you shuffle, so he'll be at the bottom for quite a while. But yeah, -2,000 power, put this card to the bottom of your deck, and use Law's ability to return their character and play something for yourself. We play the 4-drop 5k Trafalgar Law, 4 of him. He's another one you can counter with, and he's pretty much just better Otama, because it's an Otama you can attack with. Otama does have a 2k, but because she can't attack, she's mostly just utility, where you use her for her ability or you counter. But with this one, which is just better Otama in my opinion, you can still counter with him, you can attack with him, and he has the same ability. So that's why you're running him. If you can't get your Otamas out and you want to save her, or if you want to save her for counter, then just play your Laws. And it's another thing you can play off of leader ability. So yeah. We run 4 Gym Base. He is the other 2k of the deck. He's very good turn 2, because if you go first, right? Turn 2, if you go first, you'll have 3 Dawn. You can attack with leader, and then you can summon him out. And then turns go by. This is just Brook, right? This is just Brook. You only do it for 1 character, though. and you need 1 Dawn attached to him. Of course, he's only a 2k attacker, so you need to bring him up to 5 to even do damage to leader. So yeah, turn 2 of you going first, you summon him out. Next turn you'll have 5, so you just put 3 on him. Attack leader for 5, minus 2k to one of your opponent's characters. And because you put 3 on him, you could then use Law's ability to minus 3, and you just minus the 3 you put onto Jinbei, and then you return character and play one from your hand, so on and so on. I was gonna say vice versa. And I run onto the next one. I run 1 10-drop 11k Luffy. He's very situational, right? He's just here for like a nice endgame play because he has rush, and anytime your opponent activates a block, you can K up to one of your opponent's characters with 10,000 power or 8,000 power or less. Because you're minusing a lot of attack power from your opponents with like Gordon, Otama, Brook, and Law and Jinbei, he's not that bad, right? He helps you with all these other cards. So like you attack with him because of these guys. One of your opponent's blockers is probably going to go down, but most likely, or not your opponent's blockers, one of your opponent's characters are going to go down because of these 5 cards right here. So if your opponent wants to activate a blocker against this Luffy, which I don't know why they would, it's just a single strike. They just take the life, or again, if they don't have any more life, then they just have to out counter him, which is why I only run 1. This is very situational. This card is very situational. It's very good for very end game if you want to try and get them on their last hit. But if they do activate blocker, then you just KO something of theirs 8,000 less. So like, say someone you're playing against has the 10-drop 12k Kaido, right? It's like, dang, that's really wild. I'm going to, play an Otama, right? That's down to 10k. Then I'm going to play the Law, bring it down to 8k, and then you swing with your Luffy out. So it's really good for, trying to get that last hit off. Plus it's just 10-drop 11k, it's a lot of power to deal with. And it's only once per turn, so, Next card is the Ein, and I run 4 of her because even though she's not counterable, it's still a 5k body on the board, which you could then, play off of RP Law ability. And pretty much she just ramps, right? So like, say you want to get back up in Dawn because, again, leader ability, you're minusing 3. You just play her, you get 1 Dawn back. So you pretty much use leader ability for 2. You minused 2 instead of minusing 3 because you played her, you get the Dawn back, yada, yada, yada. Pretty simple. Ein, 4-drop 5k, get a Dawn back. Now, Shachi and Penguin, this is the last 2k of the deck. There are 4 of them, or 4 of them, because there's 2 of them in the card. And Shachi and Penguin is also situational, right? You're mostly using them for counter because you're only playing these guys if you have 3 or less Dawn on your field, because then you can add up to 2 Dawn from your Dawn deck. So you're mostly playing them when like you only have like 3 Dawn on the board. You get 2 back, so you're not at 0, or you're at 5, right? You minus your 3, you go up to 4, you go up, minus 3 from your 6, go up to 5. That's pretty much how it goes. You're pretty much summoning them on turn, like, you're summoning them off of Law's ability, obviously. You're not raw summoning these guys. Unless you really, really have to. You have nothing else to play. You're pretty much summoning these guys on, say, if you go first, turn 3 or 4, right? Because you'll be up at that Dawn. Unless you're using RP Law's ability already, then you'll be fine, right? If you're using RP Law's ability, then turn 4, you probably won't even be up at 6 or 7. No, 6. Well, if you went first, you'd be at 7. But either way, turn 4, you're probably already using RP Law's ability to minus Dawn. So these guys are very situational, right? You're playing them to just get to get 2 Dawn back. So if you play them off of Law's ability, you're pretty much minusing only 1 Dawn, depending on what turn you summon these guys out off of said ability. So yeah, I mostly use them for counter because of Beppo. So like, I'm not really using these guys to ramp. I'm mostly using Beppo and Ein to ramp. But not bad if you do summon them right. That's another 5k on the board. Nice to swing with. Next up is Gene Bart. Gene Bart is another ramper. He is plus 1,000, another 5k bot on the board, another one you can play off of RP Law's ability. And on play, you just tap 1, you get 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck as active. So yeah, not bad. So what you would do is like, if your opponent has a 3k power on the board, right? You use RP Law's ability, minus 3, return the character, play Gene Bart, and then use your last Dawn to ramp a Dawn. Of course, you're not just gonna use RP Law's ability to send active Dawn back. You're probably summoning something out. Like you probably summon Brook out, right? You play like, say you have like seven Dawn. We'll say you have 7 Dawn, right? You play 4 for the Brook, then you or you can, you know, just play Otamas, Gordons, and Jinbeis, and then minus the 3, return an opponent's character, play Jean Bart, tap the 1, get 1 back. Then you place the 1 that you got from Jean Bart on your leader, attack for 6k. Pretty simple for Jean Bart. Not bad that he's also a counter too. I'm glad that they didn't just make him a non-counter card. And it's another 5k you can get on the board, so more attacks. Next up is the 4-drop 5k Law. He's another counter card. He's only plus 1,000 counter. Really good for, it's very situational though for his ability. He's a blocker, but his ability is you can minus 1 Dawn if your opponent has 7 or more cards in your hand. You may trash 2 cards from their hand, and it's at random. So yeah, if your opponent has 7 or more cards, right, they're losing it. They don't have those 2 cards anymore. If they're at 7, that's perfect because then they go down to 5. So yeah, you'd be lucky if you get rid of like an event card or like a 2,000 power counter. So yeah, it's just your basic blocker with a situational ability that can also be countered, and it's a blocker you can play off of Law's ability. I'm going to be saying that a lot, but this is the last one I'll be saying it for. This is Beppo. I'm finally happy they made Beppo a good card because I think the only card Beppo had was in the green structure deck, if I'm not mistaken, and he wasn't used for much. He was mostly just there for counter. Beppo is another 4-drop 5k. He play off of Law, and he has an on play / when attacking. So if you RP Lawed him out with his ability, on play, you get to ramp a Dawn if your number of Dawn cards is less than your opponent's. So yeah, he's a good ramper. He's a ramper that also attacks while he ramps while attacking as well. So say your opponent's at 8, you're for some reason at 5, right? You play him out with Law's ability, so you're at 2, but you'll get 1 back because you play him. Next turn, you'll be back at 5. You attack with Beppo, you'll be at 6. So like you're always ramping with the purple cards. The purple cards are all ramp, except for Blocker Law. Blocker Law makes you minus. But Beppo's really cool. He's really cool. If I already have like 2 Beppos on the field, then I just counter the rest. I'm mostly protecting this Beppo because of the ramp. But if you can't protect him, don't worry, because again, you have 3 other types of ramping to use. So like you'll always don't ever be scared of running out of Dawn, because you have half of the deck is pretty much ramping. So yeah, 4-drop 5k Beppos plus 1,000. My boy ramps. He is a ramper. Next up is Roundtable, and I am so surprised not every RP Law runs this card, because it's only a 4-drop, which is just enough for you to send back non-active Dawn with RP Law's ability, because you only have -3, and Roundtable only costs 4. So you play the 4 for Roundtable, right? You bring the 10-drop 12k Kaido down to 2, right? Then you -3 of the 4 you use to play Roundtable, return the Kaido, and play one of your 4-drops. You can pretty much play everything in this deck except for obviously 10k, 10-drop Luffy. But like after that, you pretty much got rid of their big body on the board. So like I'm surprised nobody runs Roundtable a lot, because this works perfectly for this leader. But that's why I run 4. Like you run 4 to always make sure you can get rid of your opponent's big bodies, and it doesn't just have to be like a 10k big body on the board. It could be for anything. Like use minus 10k to one of your opponent's characters. That's why I run 4. Like starting hand, you want to have this in your hand just to you know, make sure you can get rid of their future big bodies. It's always good to have this starting hand. So it's a really good card. I'm surprised not a lot of Laws use this. So yeah, minus 10k power main phase. Use Law's ability. Yada yada yada. We know how it works already. I have said it multiple times. Alright, and then Radical Beam. And the reason why I run 1 Radical Beam is because I am located in North America. And if you don't know, North America has restricted this card. North America has restricted this card down to 1. That's why I only run 1. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I only run 1. It's very situational. I don't really use this as much. Even if I have it in hand, I don't really use it as much because most likely your opponent's going to be down on life more than you are because of all the cards you'll have on the field. So yeah, but it's also just good to have, right, if you're at 2 or less life, because this is a 4 or less life. This is a 4 life leader, so you'll be at 2. I wouldn't say really quickly, because again you have blocker Laws, and then you have 2 2k counters, and then no, you have 3 2k counters. So like it's very situational. You're at 2 or less life. So Yeah, it's just good to have the one, right? You'll get plus 4,000 if you have 2 or less life, and so on. Plus the counter's not bad, right? Up to one of your characters gain plus 1,000 for the turn, so you'll all be at 6k if you can trigger it in your life on your opponent's turn. So yeah, one Radical Beam. It's not that bad. You can probably switch it out for something else if you want. You can probably switch this out for like another 10 drop Luffy if you wanted to, but I run one of each. You know, it's always good to have a backup plan, right? Your little ace card in your hand that will protect you. No one ever expects the one Radical Beam. And then you have the Gum Gum Jet Pistol. This is in starter deck 1, so the Straw Hat deck. It's Gum Gum Jet Pistol, right? 4 drop, KO a 6,000 or less, which you'll probably be using a lot because of everything. Like these 5 cards right here will be minusing power, so like you don't have to waste round table on like a 8k leader or an 8k character. So like you just minus some power from with these guys, and you just Gum Gum Jet Pistol it away. It's not that, you know, it's not rocket science. It's pretty simple. It's what you've been seeing with Gum Gum Jet Pistol when the game came out, right? It's like, oh, 6k power, that's an 8k card, interesting. Otama, Gum Gum Jet Pistol. It's simple. It's I've been wanting to cover this for a little bit because I'm playing it for a little bit, and I was like, wow, this deck's really fun. I'm having more fun with this than I do with Green Red Law. So yeah, I just want to share my deck profile. If it's any of help, right? I'm glad that I was able to share it. I just wanted to record it because like I've been having a lot of fun with this deck. So yeah, this is RP Law, and that's the deck profile.